Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, April 12th, 2023. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is host of PS I Love You XOXO, a.k.a. host of WWE's This Is Awesome, a.k.a. WWE Superstar, Greg Miller.
There's something so unsettling about just one fog machine going off.
Oh, is that what
You know
happened?
I mean?
I missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It looks like something's on fire, I feel like. You know?
Oh, no. How's it going this morning?
It's great. How's it going with you?
Going pretty good. I like the shirt.
I like your shirt.
I appreciate it. There's a story behind this one, actually.
Yeah?
This morning, it didn't even start this morning. It started this last weekend where I've been watching a lot of Ted Lasso.
Sure.
In this new season, shout out Ted Lasso.
If you're an audio listener, he's wearing the Tottenham Hotspurs shirt.
No, it's West
The
Ham.
jersey.
It's
The jersey.
West Ham. Mike knows.
The hot
knows.
spurts are spurting all over this jersey.
But yeah, as I've been watching Ted Lasso this new season, one of the major teams this season is West Ham. They're kind of like the antagonist team this season, and they keep coming up. And as they've been coming up, I've been like, West Ham. That team sounds familiar. Like, why do I know West Ham? And this morning, as I was going through my closet, I saw this jersey, and I'm like, fuck, I have a West Ham jersey.
Is this the Jordan Midler one?
This is the one that Jordan Midler and Andy
Shout out to
Robinson
Jordan
and the crew at VGC gifted me. And so out of that, I was like, I got to rock this today.
Understand?
I got to show my
You gotta be the
West
villain.
Ham love
You gotta be
and
the villain.
I got to be the villain.
Sure.
You know?
I'm just wearing a New Day podcast shirt from WWE.
That's for their podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fresh.
Yeah.
Why don't I feel like we could use like an album cover shirt. Get me and Mike.
From your voice to Andy's ears, you know what I mean?
Andy, if you're listening to this, I need a shirt.
He is not.
An
Andy
album
is not
cover.
awake yet. All right.
But he listens to the show.
No.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he?
Do you listen to the shows you're
No.
not? Yeah.
No, not at all.
Nothing kills being a Kinda Funny fan faster than working at Kinda Funny.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're like, the last thing I need to do is listen to more people.
It's like, oh yeah, I listen to Greg Miller and Tim Geddes and all these people all day. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
home and listen to more Kinda Funny podcasts.
And that's what I respect about you, Greg. You do listen to stuff
do.
that you're not on.
I do. I want to see what you all are up to. Sometimes I listen in on conversations, even when they don't think I'm listening. Yesterday, Kevin was talking shit about me. Did I interject? No. I wanted to hear it all the way out, and I did.
Let it ride.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he'll be getting a talking to.
Oh no. I heard that's your favorite podcast.
Who gave
I listen
who
every
gave
single
Mike
week.
a mic? You know what I mean?
You gotta let me know when you're about to
Oh,
speak.
okay,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. See, that's
hey,
what I think.
hey, everybody, it's Mike listening. I'm out on the far side. I wanted to chime in and say I listen to the Kinda Funny Next Gen podcast every time it comes out.
Not enough people I feel like know about the Kinda Funny Next Gen podcast.
Patreon.com/kindafunny. I listen to it.
Particularly one of our best shows. Oh, you listen to it? What are your thoughts on it?
I love it. My favorite is still when Barrett had to explain like how sick he was after the Halloween party and how he fell asleep and like the I think that was one where I came in and I was like, listen, it was a great podcast, but you got to remember people listen. So like you were just like, I was like this and this was like that, and like watching it, you see him laying on the couch, but as a listener, I was like, I don't know what he's doing.
What is he doing? What's going on here? I got a banger Next Gen podcast for you guys for the next one. Let me tell you. But that next
Is it like the
Gen podcast,
19th Create a Burger to check in? Or whatever?
No, sadly, well, actually, there probably will be because I don't know if Creator Burger's still alive. They've been closed for the last month.
Wow. Oh, that's pretty
And like the thing, well, it says temporarily closed on the website. When you go like visit the physical store, because I've done this now, it says like, oh yeah, we're under maintenance, like we're fixing our robots or whatever. And I'm like, you guys are just
What
closed.
is, for people who don't know, what is Create a Burger?
Creator Burger is this burger joint where the burgers are created by robots. Right, so you order your burger. They have like a robot that's like inside of a box that me and Roger and Bear are like still kind of skeptical about because you don't actually see the robot make the burger.
I think it's just a dude inside that box making the burgers.
I think it's just a conveyor belt, right? Like I don't think there's an actual robot. So maybe they're closed because they're actually building the actual robots. But the whole idea of this place is that because they have they've removed the human element out of it, the burgers are cheaper, but they're still high quality.
Yeah.
because they don't have to pay anybody.
Sure.
They have
future.
cashiers. They have cashiers. They have two people
For how
working
long?
there.
For how long?
Not that long.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh no! What if that's what they're making right now?
I did
Cashier box.
I did the other week I ordered Creator Burger on the app because I just happened to open up the app and I'm like, oh, okay, it's letting me order. Let me order Creator Burger.
Sure.
I ordered it. I go to pick it up and the front door has a sign on it that says closed for a meeting. And I'm like,
The robots are meeting?
yeah, I'm like, that's not right. And so I look inside the joint. There's people in there, and so I go inside
God,
because
that's
I
not good.
ordered my burger.
You should read the fucking sign. There's a meeting.
And as soon as I open the door, I just stares from everybody. They're like, what are you doing in here? Like, what's up? And I'm like, hey, I ordered a burger. Like, it went through on the app. I've
been charged.
I've been charged. I just want a burger or
Tell
a
the
refund.
fucking robot to get to work.
Yeah. And so, like, kudos to them. They gave me the refund. They're like, oh, shit, my bad. Like,
What do you mean, kudos to them? Like, what do you mean? That's like, they
Well, like,
legally have to.
The thing is, when I walked
They're like,
in,
you got, son. Get out.
the tension was thick. There was something happening in there where, I don't know if somebody was getting a talking to
Sure.
or they're like, hey, our business is not working. Like they're having
The
some
robot
kind of
became
meeting.
Sentient. That's
The
what it
robots
was.
became sentient, and now it's becoming a problem. There was something happening in that meeting where it was tense, and I the last thing I wanted to see was me walking in there looking for my barbecue burger with bacon on it. And so they gave me a refund.
Is this?
And I got Panda Express
I know
instead.
you talk about it a lot, but
Mhm.
like it's not. Is it local or is it like a chain or what's up with the Creative
There's a
Burger?
few spots, but I don't know if it's just in the Bay Area or if there's
Okay.
other ones outside of the Bay Area.
Okay.
But I know there are at least a couple in the Bay Area.
When I was a kid, we went to Comic Book Wednesday. Of course, Dad picked me up from school. We went to pick up my books at Graham Cracker Comics, and this was Glen Ellen. This is the Glen Ellen location on Roosevelt Road. And when we got in there, like you could tell something. Like as we approached, like something was going on.
Mhm.
And like we opened the door, and like our normal cashier was standing behind the counter, like in the most awkward like pose of all time. And there was these other dudes in suits, and we opened the thing, and the dude spun around and had an FBI badge on. I was like, "What are you doing?" And it was like they were raiding them for like tax evasion or something. Like I walked in to buy my comics in the middle of this FBI raid. I was like, "All right,
You're
fine."
just standing there sweating, being like, "Ah, shit." Here we go. Greg.
Yeah.
Enough about that. Let's talk about today's news stories, which include Redfall launching with no performance mode, a new PlayStation State of Play, and more, because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. Remember, you can use Epic Creator Code Kinda Funny on all the Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. To be a part of the show, head to kindafunny.com/KFGD to write in with your questions, squad ups, and more. And remember, patreon.com/kindafunny will get you the show ad-free, plus a bevy of bonus content. Housekeeping for you. A new Kinda Funny Gamescast is up right now, talking about our games of the year so far. You can catch that over on youtube.com/kindafunnygames.
Google Maps, Creative Burger temporarily closed, confirmed by the business 7 weeks ago.
Dude,
you don't come back from it.
Every day I still log on and check. I'm like, maybe it's open today.
It looks like they are at only this one location, and I could be wrong, but it's like
Okay.
their website's all about San Francisco, and I can only find this one. So I have Instagram.
Is that the Daily City one?
Yeah, I've
Okay.
Instagram DM them about the Daily City location. We will see what they say. All right,
I'm so scared about the response.
They don't use Instagram much. It looks like September 2022 was their last post. September 2022.
The last time they were open.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh God.
This Friday, April 14th, Kinda Funny is teaming up with our friends over at Hang Time for an awesome stream where we'll channel our inner Dom Toretto and race across the states in the Crew 2. Greg, Andy, and Tim will have to go as fast as possible to win this race, but your Twitch subs and YouTube SuperChats will have them hit pit stops with fun challenges along the way. Like, how many pizza rolls can Andy eat in under a minute? Or is Tim smarter than a 5th grader? Come support this Friday afternoon stream to find out and enjoy the open road with us. And then we're trying something new with YouTube SuperChats on Kinda Funny Games Daily. Only on YouTube in the live stream, there's going to be a 30-minute post show where SnowBikeMike comes in to talk to us, KFGD hosts, all about your Super Chat questions. Stay tuned after today's handshake to hang out with me, Mike, and Greg before the next Kinda Funny stream starts. And then over on Patreon, there is a new episode of Kinda Feudy, entirely themed around movies. That's right, we're getting feudy at the movies. Greg has a thumbs down, is because he only knows
This show
things about
used to
video
be
games.
great. This show used to be awesome.
But Tim has glowing things to say about the show, about this current season. I don't know, man. Maybe you should watch more movies. Figure out what Jim Carrey's up to.
I watched Love Is Blind.
I really don't want to watch Eternal Sunshine. Everybody is saying that I should watch
Oh,
Eternal
Wes,
Sunshine.
That it is extremely your shit.
Yeah, that is what Tim said too. I want to know what about it makes it my shit.
It's depressing.
It's depressing and artsy.
Okay,
It's depressing and
that's fair.
sad.
I do love depressing, sad shit. So
And
yeah,
Jim Carrey, great in it. One of my favorite movies.
I mean, Jim Carrey is always great, though. Jim Carrey is always great. Is it as good as The Truman Show, though? It's The Truman Show, one of my favorite movies.
I would say it's if it's not at the same level of the Truman Show, it's almost quite there.
All right. Ooh, that's what I want to hear, Barrett. That's what I want to hear. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Tripod Plus Plus and Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by Rocket Money, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
A baker's dozen. Damn it.
Starting with our number 1, a sad one, like that one smoke machine. Redfall is launching without a performance mode. This comes directly from
year
@PlayRedfall
is
on
it?
Twitter. They tweeted out this morning, Redfall is launching on Xbox consoles with quality mode only. Xbox Series X, 4K, 30 FPS, and then on Xbox Series S, 1440p, 30 FPS. 60 FPS performance mode will be added via game update at a later date. Greg Miller,
Yeah.
you ask what year is it? How do you feel about this?
This one sucks and is sad. I put up, I quote tweeted it and put up the,
Paul?
no, it was the GIF of
Oh,
him saying shame from Hot Fuzz. Jesus,
Yeah.
I was so hung up on Shaun of the Dead. The shame GIF, right? And it was, so many people were like, oh yeah, like PlayStation's got it better. Yeah. And I'm like, no, you dense motherfuckers. I'm excited for Redfall. I've been stoked for Redfall since we first saw it. Arcane, Vampire Hunter. Mike went and saw it and played it. He came back and he's like, it's basically Far Cry with vampires. I'm like, be still my heart. I love Far Cry. You know that. But it's this thing of like the always online thing. Oh, we'll take it out. Okay, well, it's just Far Cry. Yeah, that's fine. It's cool, whatever. It's like, I feel like Redfall keeps stepping on rakes. You know what I mean? Like, can we just get this game out and see if it's fun for everybody and how much it's going to go? And, there's so much wrapped up in this decision, of course, of like Xbox first-party releases, few and far between, right? At least bigger ones, larger ones. Don't get me wrong, Pentiment and stuff like that are happening and grounded and yada, yada, yada. But like ones that are like have some juice behind them. And Redfall seems to be losing the juice the closer it gets. When I do want it to come out and I do want it to be awesome and I do want us to play for multiple weeks on stream and at night and all this different stuff and have a lot of fun with it. And I want to go do my, kill my vampires and then come join Mikey's game and do all this stuff and blah, blah. It's like, I want to be excited, and it sucks that at every turn there's some reason not to be excited for Redfall, which is dampening my expectations.
yeah, I'm right there with you. I was way more excited at the initial reveal of Redfall when you got that reveal trailer showing off the vampires, showing off the different characters you can play as, and you compare it to Far Cry. The thing I've always compared it to in my head was Borderlands, just in terms of having these different classes, having this open world that you can hang out around, taking down waves of enemies, having the different kinds of weapons. So much of that appeals to me, and I think one of the big factors that appeals to me as well is the fact that it's Arcane, right? This is one of the first big first-party titles coming from Bethesda as a publisher under Microsoft. Oh man, that's going to be big for the platform, and for me, Redfall is one that has wavered in terms of the marketing and excitement. Again, that first trailer was so dope, was so good, but the trailers that have come after that, some of them have been like, okay, I can see the vision. Okay, I see what you're doing here. This seems cool. And the other ones have been like, all right, cool. Like, it seems like more of the same game here. Like, what's going to be special about this thing? What's going to stick out about this thing? For me, one of the things that has me a bit worried right now is the release date in terms of what's coming out around it. Because currently, Redfall is coming out. I'm looking at Blessing Super Fun Game
May
release
1st,
calendar.
right?
May 2nd, for Game Pass, right? Which is huge. But you're talking about earlier that week or about maybe a week before, you're talking about Star Wars Jedi Survivor coming out April 28th. Right, so that's coming mere days after that, and then only about 10 days before The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So you're being squished between two of the highest anticipated games of the year, right there, right? As Redfall. So that's been one of the things where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna want to play this, right? But how much time am I gonna even have to play this thing? You have that, and then you've had the always online thing, and with this latest update, right? Them not being able to launch with performance mode on consoles. That's such a bummer to me because I think we're at the point in the generation, and maybe this is a poll I had to put out. I think I saw Jeff Grubb maybe run this poll, so maybe that's one that should pull up. But how many of us play in performance mode versus fidelity mode? Sure. I'm a performance mode dude.
100%.
I love performance 100%. Mode. It is. I'd never want to go back, honestly, to fidelity mode.
For years when I would talk shit about PC gamers, they would always throw this back in my face that they play their games at 60 at the time, right? I play my games at 30 on a console. And my argument was always, I don't fucking care and I don't want to know. I don't want to know what I'm missing. So, because this looks great, 30 looks great to me. And then as soon as, PlayStation 4 Pro and all these other things started offering it, you jump over to 60 and I cannot go back. I cannot, you know what I mean? And so my hope is here when I start this up, since I won't be able to toggle between them, it'll just be what it is and I won't think too much about it. But it is like just a bummer. Like, it won't if the game's fun, the game's gonna be fun. If the systems are cool and the progression's neat and it's easy to play with other people, it'll all be fine for me. But for a game that like, it just seems like has not even bad, but disappointing news in this lead up to launch every time. I just want them to get it out already and be done with it and show that the game is fun and it's going to overcome and blah, blah. But then it is this conversation of every response I saw to this tweet was either a joke or people just delay it. just delay the game. And I have to agree that like if it is like we're trying to figure out how to pull the online only or the online connectivity requirement out. They've said already, right? But it won't be ready for launch. We're going to be putting in performance mode, but it won't be ready at launch. At this point, just push launch. Like you're saying on top of it too, it's just like it's not a good time to come out. If you're not done with Jedi Fallen Order, or you're doing a replay of Zelda, or you're getting, I mean, like, it's going to be hard to put together a group. I think it's going to be hard for it. Unless the game is absolutely stunning, a blast like you've never played it, I think it's going to be really hard for it to get traction and keep it.
Yeah,
maybe for that, it'll have a week there before Zelda after, but yeah.
But, like, this reminds me so much of the Titanfall 2 situation where Titanfall 2 came out squished between Battlefield 1 and a Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And one of those things had to get overtaken by the others in terms of conversation. And when you're talking about just press coverage, press is going to be all over Star Wars. Press is going to be all over Zelda because Zelda is such a big game. And by that point, right, you're talking about 10 days before Zelda comes out. I would think that reviewers maybe possibly have codes for Zelda by then, right? And so, like, how much bandwidth do people have when you are putting out videos and content that are, all right, 10 days until Zelda. Let's count down the best Zelda games, or let's talk about all the things that Breath of the Wild did in our anticipation. Redfall right now for the release date is going to be caught within that, right? With not waves of great press happening. I think it'd be another thing too if like the marketing was off the chain and this did have the juice of something like Star Wars. But I think it being Redfall kind of puts it in this weird place of there's excitement for it because it's a Xbox first party title and because it's a interesting looking shooter. But outside of that, like it doesn't really have the IP power. It doesn't really have the showcase power. It doesn't have like a lot pushing it above to where you would see a Star Wars or Zelda get hyped.
It feels like another, and you know, Mike, I want you to come out here. You got the stick mic or whatever, because of course we're PS I Love You XOXO, so of course it's easy to throw us out, baby, with the bathwater. It feels like another mid game for Xbox. It isn't a AAA, it isn't a Halo, it isn't a Gears, it isn't this gigantic, hey, this is going to be the next big thing and take the world by storm. That's how I feel. I say that as I think, honestly, is maybe the person who's most excited to play it in the office, because I didn't get to go to the preview and do all that stuff. Like, I'm in. I want to stake people. I want to have cool shit going on. Am I wrong? Are we off target? Are we saying stupid things that the Xcast wouldn't agree with? SnowBikeMike, the host of the Kinda Funny Xcast.
I've been feeling mid this whole time on this one, and I think a lot of people have shot me the look like that's crazy, Mike, because, of course, on the Xbox side of things, when we look at the first-party content output, right, this year was supposed to be the year. We continue to say this is the year, and we continue to just put that washer load on a big old oof situation. We step on rakes and we continue to have problems here, right? And like this year never seems like it's the year. And then Redfall here, I thought it was going to be mid, Greggy, and I smile because you bring up those other titles and it's like a lot of passion projects. 2022 was a year of passion projects. Pentiment, Grounded. Where are our big AAA first-party content launches? We just don't seem to get them. And then you go to Redfall, and this is a big problem. This is disappointing. The question is true. You've already had a long delay. We're already here now looking at a release with a lot of games all around it. Do you just delay again? Can you delay again? We talked about it at last year. Hey, all these games will be released in the next 12 months. Well, Starfield got delayed. Forza doesn't even have a release date. I mean, we're already about to hit, it's April. We're going to be in May soon enough. Might as well delay this one and let's just keep it moving.
Do you think they're dealing with a calendar problem? Because if you delay Redfall now, you're just getting it closer to Starfield, right? And then we don't know where Forza Motorsport lands. Do they want to avoid putting out Forza Motorsport and Redfall in the same month if, say, this gets delayed to July so they can iron out these things?
Not at all. We already have – these games are all – we're going to start stacking up on top of each other already, bless. I don't think it's a calendar problem. There is some sort of problem, right? I'm not a developer. I'm not on the inside, but, like, we didn't see this coming. Nobody came in and said, hey, that's a big problem there. We got to talk about this. I think there's accountability problems here, bless. I don't think it's a calendar problem at this point. I think there's some accountability problems. I mean, the whole mindset was we bring these teams as first parties so they can give us the best first party output. They'll be able to take advantage of the console. We're not taking advantage of the world's most powerful console at 30 frames at all.
That's a really good point.
A lot of people bring up Aaron Greenberg's tweet quite some time ago. Hey, we're in the next generation. It's going to be 60 and 120 from this point forward. People are bringing up the advertising for this. All of the marketing videos were at 60 frames per second. And then you get this news weeks before launch is a big disappointment. And so maybe there's an accountability problem. Maybe, this team chewed off too much, right? We look at last time Deathloop released at 60 frames. Well, now they're trying something new. Of
That
course,
was running the PlayStation 5 then.
exactly first-person shooter, but it's a multiplayer game. They're stepping out of their normal elements,
Yeah.
right? Maybe this is
And
all too much, right?
Full shared open world stuff. If you get
Always
into that
online.
multiplayer,
Yeah.
something that I saw chat wondering about, Mikey, and I don't know. It's been a while, so I don't know if you remember the preview that you guys got to go hands-on with. Do you remember that being in 60, or was that at 30?
It felt 30 to me. It felt slow, but I could be wrong on that one. See, here's the issue that I have is I play all these games at 60 or above. We haven't gone back to 30, and I'm like performance poppy over here. I always choose performance, right? And so the issues that we're going to have now is this acceptable? Will people play this on day one? Or like you said, Greg, are we really going to wait months for performance mode to come out? And where's that audience going to be months from now? We talk about
that's the
you
biggest
gotta
thing.
strike now, or else I'm never coming back.
First
I'm not
impressions
coming back.
matter, right? This strikes me a lot as, in I missed it because of Ben's birth, but Back for Blood. We're Back for Blood drops, right? And you guys played it for a weekend, maybe a little bit more,
over.
and then moved on, and it was
That's
over.
what this game will be.
And so that's my thing, is if you're going to have one chance at a first impression, one chance at that audience, do you really want to be like, all right, we're going to release it without performance mode, and then eventually, like, at that point, don't even do performance mode. Yo, we're going to make it run in performance mode, we're putting it out, enjoy it. Because this isn't a games as service, right? They're not promising weeks or months and months of content and all this jazz.
Yeah, and it's also a multiplayer shooter, right? Like we talk about it being open world and all these things, but for a multiplayer shooter, I want a performance mode. Like I don't want to play that in a fidelity mode. I know it's not competitive or whatever, but with first-person shooter gameplay, I feel like that's one of the genres that's going to benefit the most from having that performance, right? Having that extra smoothness in how it runs. And so yeah, and like to your point, right? I think the first impressions matter. If you're not going to have this stuff at launch, and that is part of your vision for the game, you got to delay the launch.
This game has had a lot of bad first impressions.
Including this one, I left this one off. But January 16th, ONS Good on Polygon reported, Redfall hosts will advance their campaign story,
Correct.
but not multiplayer.
We talked a lot about that on XCast.
So I wanted to put that out there because it's
Paris
a couple
even
of
talked, and this is another one. This game has had a lot of problems with first impressions from the moment it was shown to the questions of what is this game to then finding out always online, multiplayer issues with progression. Now here we are, like this game has just continued to just look mid and act mid, and it's coming from a world-class developer, which is the saddest part about that, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll talk
Cool
a lot
idea
more.
too.
Yeah, cool idea.
Yeah,
We'll talk a lot
yeah,
more
yeah,
about
talk
it
about
on
it more
the
on the
XCast.
XCast.
And it's going to be really exciting to hear Paris. And you know Gary's going to be very uptight about this because, you know, Gary wants nothing but performance mode. He wants 60 plus. He expects 60 plus. So we'll talk a lot about this on XCast. And, of course, if you're an Xbox fan, your eyes now turn to one big release, Starfield. Are we going to be stuck at 30 frames on Starfield? And is that going to be a major problem? So be ready.
Be ready for the Kinda Funny XCast live recording today on patreon.com/kindafunny at 3:15 Pacific time. Of course, no ads over there. Watch it, be in the chat, be live, participate in the show. And if you can't do that on Patreon and get it ad-free and get all the bonus content, youtube.com/kindafunnygames tomorrow on podcast services around the globe.
Hell yeah. A couple more tidbits, right? Starfield better not be 30 FPS. I'll be so upset if that game is 30 FPS. I'm getting a little bit worried, but I'm holding out hope. I'm like, yo, if they announce that game is 30 FPS at launch, I'm gonna be so upset. But that's one. Another tidbit. Barrett brought it up earlier, but Jeff Grubb's poll asking, do you play games on performance mode or quality mode? Out of over 5,000 votes on that poll, 85.9% of people currently say performance mode, whereas 14.1% say quality mode. And of course, you're talking about Jeff Grubb's audience who follows him. That's probably a more hardcore video game audience, but that is speaking to the hardcore, right? Like the hardcore is kind of the heart of where your audience is at. And so, yeah, if the hardcore is speaking and they are like, hey, performance mode is where it's at, 85% of us play performance mode. That's huge. And for me, as somebody who, it's so hard for me to go back, right? So whenever I boot up fidelity mode or quality mode on games nowadays, it just doesn't feel the same, right? Now it looks a bit ugly to me.
Yeah.
The idea of playing Redfall in quality, it doesn't appeal to me.
I know we've gone around, but even when we were mid-conversation on this, right before we brought Mike on, we'd already been talking a while. Somebody popped up in the chat is like, they shouldn't delay it. If it's content complete, release it. I don't care that much about the frames per second. I'm like, to be clear, I'm not saying this is the reason to delay. I'm saying there's all these different tiddlywinks where this is the straw. Like, it's the frames per second. It's the host-only progression. It's the fact that you have to always be online. Like, there's enough going on here of like, don't be making these promises of things you're going to fix later on. Like, because you're not going to have an audience later on. It's just not going to matter.
Story number 2. A new state of play is coming, all about Final Fantasy 16. This is coming directly
This game has been criminally under talked about, so I'm glad.
I'm glad finally somebody's putting out a trailer for Final Fantasy 16. This is from the PlayStation blog. From the moment Final Fantasy 16 debuted in our 2020 PlayStation 5 showcase, fans around the world have eagerly awaited details on the game's dark fantasy setting, the powerful icons and the dominance who house them, and the flashy battle system teased in those early trailers. We're happy to announce this week's State of Play will dive into all this and more. So tune in live on Twitch or YouTube April 13th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Then get ready for Final Fantasy 16's PS5 launch on June 22nd.
Is this active combat or are they going back to turn-based?
It's active. 16, yeah. No, it's so active that Michael Hyam on Gamescast compared it to Devil May Cry. And he was
okay.
hot on
I
the
wasn't
combat.
there that day. I wasn't there that
Yeah,
day. Okay.
no, the combat is going to be very actiony, and that very much appeals to me. But Greg, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your hype levels for this state of play?
Why'd you drop the question that way? For the state of play, thank you so much. I meant to ask Mike when he was here, so I had to text him to bring him my coffee. The state of play itself, I'm not it's not like. I want to be very clear. It went through. Yeah, it's gone already. But somebody who said in there on the chat, I think from YouTube or maybe it was Twitch, was like, I'm not even a Final Fantasy jabroni, and I'm so hyped for Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16, I'm like an 8, maybe a 9, where I'm like, damn, everything they've said sounds cool as the non-Final Fantasy guy, right? Final Fantasy 7 Remake being the only one I've actually completed that I actually enjoyed. Yeah, this looks cool. The Game of Thrones aspect, cool. The combat, cool. I'm down to see what this world. Let's go. Blah blah blah. But when they announced this and it was like, all right, anything else? No, just 20 minutes. It's like I sent the one, the only Barrett Courtney a tweet from Ethan Gatch over there at Kotaku. Honestly, have no idea what more I would want to know about this game at this point. I'm
Honestly.
like, you've done it, you've sold it. I'm fine, and I understand, of course. Every time you show something for a game, it's somebody's first time seeing that game. It's somebody's first delve into that world. We're lucky and privileged to be able to do this 24/7, see everything to some degree, you know what I mean? So I'm not offended it exists, but it's like me. I was talking to Tim, are we gonna do live reacts to this? And we looked at the calendar and it's like, oh no, we have PS I Love You and we have the Mario Brothers review, and it's like we could juggle them, we could do. It's like, is it worth doing that for us to sit here and be like, Final Fantasy still looks cool? Can't wait for Final Fantasy. I'll probably watch it later, you know what I mean? But maybe not even, because if at that point I'm in, I'm ready to go.
And you have to imagine from a marketing perspective, right? Of these plans are probably put in place ways ahead, right? Especially for something like a state of play. So I wonder, did they even know how hyped people would be for Final Fantasy 16 by this point, right?
I mean,
it's selling the Greg Millers of the world already on the game.
It's that thing where, again, I think for so many people, this is a different look. I don't think they had a close personal friend, Michael Hyam, go do it and sit down next to them and rant for an hour about how great it was. That's you got to take these marketing opportunities. I think marketing, you don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
But
and that's the thing is, Final Fantasy is one of the most popular video game franchises on the planet, right? And so there's gonna be so many people that are super hyped for the state of play and are super hyped to see 20 minutes of gameplay. I'm sure for that rings. So it's so exciting for so many people. And for me, I'm looking forward to the state of play. I'm probably gonna watch it, even though we're not gonna do a live reacts to it. But yeah, it's not like I'm a 10 excited for the state of play.
Yeah.
I'm probably a 10 excited for the game.
yeah,
though.
right. The game, fuck yeah, let's go.
The game sounds dope. The game looks dope. Everything we've seen in terms of marketing from the game looks awesome. But yeah, I've seen what I've needed to see. But I'm sure there are way more hardcore Final Fantasy fans out there that are like, oh, let's fucking go. And I think for PlayStation, they're treating this almost like a PlayStation Studios first party game, because you're looking down the barrel of this year and you got Spider-Man 2 coming out in the fall, and that's pretty much it for what we have announced from PlayStation Studios, and that might be it for PlayStation Studios, who knows. And so I think for them, PlayStation's probably like, hey, we need to represent more games as core to the exclusive console slate for the year. And I think Final Fantasy 16, of course, being one of the biggest third-party games you have come to the platform and being an exclusive that you've struck a deal with, own that. Give it its own state of play, hype up your audience for it. I think state of play is becoming this thing where now if you put state of play next to a thing, the PlayStation audience is going to, a portion of this PlayStation audience is going to automatically tune into it because they view it as PlayStation's direct. And so, I think you are ushering in your audience to this big new game that you want everybody to be excited for. And so I'm all about it. And I think for a big RPG like this, there is still so much you can talk about. I personally, I'm like, cool, I'm good. I know I'm going to play it, but you can still talk about what's going on in the story. You can still talk about what's going on in the world. You can, we've heard Michael Hyam talk about the combat. I'm not sure how much of the combat we've actually seen broken down, so I'm sure there's plenty there you can talk about as well. Maybe there's surprises from characters that we know, or we might get teases. Maybe the Sid we've seen in the party isn't the only Sid. We were getting 5 more Sids in the game. Who knows? But I'm sure there's plenty of things you can tease and talk about, so I look forward to that.
I have more information for you over on the Yelp page for Creator Burger.
Oh, no.
They are listed as temporarily closed, scheduled to reopen on May 31st.
No, what the
2023.
That's
That's
even
a
feels
long
like a
close.
placeholder
I have
date.
messaged the business on Yelp as well.
Yeah,
so
is that
we'll
like
see
the end of their fiscal year? Like, is that like when GameStop has a date for like this December 31st for a game?
I mean,
No,
maybe
they have
just
not responded on
quietly-
Instagram chats yet, but I'll get back to
That's
you.
a
Maybe
long
they just
close.
quietly close it down. Bless again our theory that you can go deep dive into on the Next Gen podcast on Patreon.com. So that's kind of funny. Is that maybe Creator Burger is like a testing bed for a bigger chain
corporation
to be doing robot employees to not pay people.
Is that bigger corporation? Does it rhyme with Sick Ronald's?
Sick Ron.
Lick. Never mind. I got nothing. I tried my
Like
best.
Bonald's, you know what I'm saying?
Lick Bonald's. Is it McDonald's? Do you think? Do you think Creator Burger is owned by McDonald's?
No.
No. Also, I'm gonna need you to edit that out just in case. Got a lot of
Allegedly.
McDonald's coming after me.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. If you want to support Kinda Funny Games, you can go over to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Over there, we got exclusive content like new episodes of Kinda Feudy, like the Next Gen podcast, and more. You can go over there, you can get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
Shout out to Rocket Money for sponsoring this episode. We all love gobbling up content, and we have an understanding of what subscriptions we use. Or do we? Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions when the actual total is closer to $200. That's right. You out there. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you don't even know about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps you lower your bills, all in one place. Rocket Money has saved some of us here at Kinda Funny a ton of money, and it can help you too. Stop throwing away your money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. That's rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. ROCKETMONEY.com/kindafunny.
Speaking of big new trailers, story number 3, Tears of the Kingdom is getting one more 3-minute long trailer. This comes from @Nintendo of America on Twitter, where they tweeted out this morning. Join us on April 13th at 7 a.m. Pacific time to watch the final pre-launch trailer for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, live streamed on our YouTube channel. The trailer will be roughly 3 minutes long. Does this excite you more than Final Fantasy 16?
Same.
Same?
It's the same. Where I'm just
Okay.
like, I want to know little to nothing about these games. I'm in. You've done your job. Let's go. But again, Zelda has been a different one, and 3 minutes isn't outrageous. And I think it'll probably, if I was guessing right, it's going to be more in the vein of like an actual trailer rather than the giant demo we got, right? So it would be maybe a few more hinted stories. It's 3 minutes long. You figure Barrett will break it down into a 3-hour-long video about what this thing on the wall meant. And
Exactly.
That way. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what Zelda's up to in this portion of the game. Oh man, is this future Zelda? Is this past Zelda? Is this dead Zelda? This is Zelda's reanimated corpse. Dead Zelda would be the name of a great band. Yeah, this seems cool. I love the fact that we've gotten not that much info
little
on
to
this
nothing
game.
from this one. Yeah,
Even the demo we saw in the last Nintendo Direct, that felt like they were showing us a good peek inside, but it didn't feel like a lot, right? Like, okay, cool, we can fuse weapons. All right, cool, these are some of our powers, and that's it. Like, that's all they're gonna show us. And I think, this 3-minute trailer, I gotta imagine it's gonna be more like narrative type trailer, right? Like,
this is going to be the hype Breath of the Wild one.
Exactly.
That,
Give me
you get the
Zelda
great
crying.
Zelda VO. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, we'll see the champions.
And this time we'll see Zelda die, and the Tears
like,
of the
whoa.
Kingdom will start.
Do you think the Tears of the Kingdom is that like everybody's crying over Zelda's death, or do you?
Yeah,
think...
and that's part of my theory is that the reason why they didn't stream the reveal of the name of the game in the UK because it happened on the day that the Queen died was because of the more deeper meaning of what the game is about, which is dead royalty.
Oh shit.
But Nintendo doesn't know how the internet works, so people in the UK could still watch the stream somewhere else. I don't know, man. They're so weird.
Yeah, they're doing it out of respect. Greg, what would you say is the plan for this one? Do we talk about this on? Do we live react on Games Daily tomorrow? This is probably more of a Tim question because he's with me tomorrow. But like, do we show up at 7
the question
a.m.
is if you all want to show up at 7 a.m. You know,
Well, I was thinking maybe a work from home situation at 7 a.m.
Possible. Yeah, you could do that.
I got my setup at home.
Yeah,
ready
He
to
does
go.
have a setup at home.
It could. I mean, it could just be an easy combination, right? Where it's only 3 minutes long, so why not? Yeah, just do it during Games Daily. Nobody watches it until Games Daily.
And then get everybody on set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Tune in to Games Daily tomorrow to see our reaction to this trailer. I'm
You're an
excited.
audio listener. We'll narrate it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
All right, Zelda's
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 crying.
dead.
Oh, now
Oh,
she's
it's dead
dead.
Zelda.
Oh,
It's
no,
dead
she got
Zelda.
stabbed.
Dead Zelda.
Oh, that's a lot of stabs into Zelda. Oh, is that a gun? Oh, God, Games got a gun.
Max Payne is here.
Oh, Lord, it's slow motion. Story number 4, PlayStation may have finally stopped sending thank you for your purchase emails for PS Plus games. This is from Chris Scullion at Video Games Chronicle. Thank God.
Every time. Did I get hacked?
I was like, oh man, did I accidentally buy a thing? It appears that Sony may have finally stopped sending automated purchase confirmation emails each time a player claims a PS Plus game. For years now, players have been receiving an email titled, quote, "Thank you for your purchase," end quote, every time they claim one of their monthly free games from PS Plus, now known as PS Plus Essential. The wording of the emails regularly confuses and worries players because it implies that they spent money on the game, rather than simply claiming it as part of their subscription. Since not everyone checks their emails frequently, some get the message later in the day or week, forgot they claimed their PS Plus games, and worry that their account has been hacked or is buying games they didn't want. That sounds so specific, and I want to say that Chris Scullion experienced this himself. However, as spotted by PlayStation Lifestyle, a number of Reddit threads have started to appear from players suggesting the practice may have finally stopped. One thread reads, quote, "So each month, after I added the monthly essential games to my library and downloaded them, I checked my email afterwards and got a thank you for your purchase email for each of those games purchased. Except I didn't get any email like that this month after claiming Sackboy and the other two. I know it's a silly question, but I found it odd, so I just wanted to check if it happened to anyone else." Then another thread reads, "I received dozens and dozens of these emails for every single free DLC I download, while for the latest games, this month's Essential, I haven't received any emails. Tried to download a game from PS Plus Extra and nothing." Both threads received numerous responses from players claiming that they didn't get their emails either. VGC claimed this month's free PS Plus games yesterday and has yet to receive any purchase confirmation emails for them. We did it.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
You know what I mean?
Thank God.
We don't have to worry about this anymore. And luckily, Janet never had to since she doesn't redeem her games.
Can you believe that?
She's outrageous.
She didn't even know there was a problem.
I know.
She was like, "You guys receive emails for those? That's crazy."
Yeah. Somebody's got to set her straight.
I'm glad somebody at PlayStation finally noticed. Do you think Shu subscribed to PS Plus Essential?
What the fuck is all this
and was
shit?
like, why am I getting emails? I didn't buy anything. Jim, did you know about this?
It's just
Herman, did you
how
know?
well things are going for PlayStation that they're able to finally start working through the backlog of other
Oh, yeah.
problems. They're not in this minutia.
Eventually we'll get themes again.
No.
Not today,
no.
but one day.
Remember those?
Yeah, I miss them a lot.
Remember all the shitty 99-cent ones that were just like naked ladies or whatever and stuff?
No.
Yeah.
Wait.
Anime
Why do
waifus
you
and
know
stuff.
about
Oh, I
those?
tweeted about them all the time because they were ridiculous.
Tweeted about
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Tweeted about them.
Tim wouldn't let me buy them. Don't worry. He checks my expenses.
Wait, you would expend this stuff to the company?
Well, I mean, if I'm going to make content about it.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
What's your content? Just tweeting about it?
Yeah. Some
All right.
screenshots. They're still up. Go look at the garbage themes out there on PlayStation 4.
Speaking of PS Plus, story number 5, PS Plus Extra games for April have been announced. Your PS Plus Extra April lineup looks like this. You're getting Kena Bridge of Spirits, Doom Eternal, Riders Republic, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus and The Old Blood, Slay the Spire, Monster Boy, The Evil Within, Bassmaster Fishing, Paradise Killer. You're a big Bassmaster fan?
Nah, it's a Ghostbusters 2 reference there.
And then Sackboy. And then for PS Plus Premium, you're getting Doom for the PS4, Doom 2, and these are of course, the classic versions, right? So Doom, Doom 2, Doom 64, Doom 3, and then Dishonored Definitive Edition.
It's a PS4 game. Why is it on the fucking premium?
Listen, if you
It's
just
a definitive edition.
if you close your
Like,
eyes,
I get it. Dishonored 1, technically a PS3 game, but
There you
that
go.
is the PS4 remaster. I don't know.
if you
man.
close your eyes to where it says definitive edition, it just says
You
Dishonored.
see that these are, this is Doom from the PlayStation 4, right? So it is like the Doom original version that was on PlayStation 4, Barrett. So don't worry about where it came from, Barrett. Just worry that you're playing it for free on PlayStation Plus because you pay for it.
PlayStation knows the
From
rules,
where'd you
Barrett. This is a really great lineup.
Of course.
For, PS Plus Extra. Kena Bridge of Spirits is a game that, like, we don't talk
People
about
really
it.
love.
Some people really
thought it was
love.
fine.
Some people thought it was okay, right? It's a game that we don't talk about a lot, I think, just for that reason,
Yeah.
right? But it's a game that I look back at with such fondness for how beautiful that game is and for, like, how brutal the combat is at times, but then also how fun it is.
Sure.
I had a lot of fun with Kena Bridge of Spirits, and if you're somebody who hasn't gotten to check it out yet, I would say if it looks interesting to you, 1000% pick it up and play it.
Of course
It's a
not,
very
yeah.
good
If
video
it's
game.
a part of the PlayStation Plus lineup. Same thing with like Slay the Spire. How many times has that game been critically acclaimed? If you've
Yeah.
never played it, it's out there. Get into it. Of course, Sackboy's Big Adventure, a game that y'all love.
Yeah,
I enjoy.
fantastic
fine.
video game.
Think
One
a
of the
little bit-
best of the launch lineup.
A little overblown by the new class of PS I Love You.
You posted a thing about like the player base, right? Like Sackboy's seeing a lot of players right now.
I did. Wait, where was
Was
it?
that
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
PS Love You Slack?
Yeah, that was on the PS I Love You Slack. I was looking at something. What was that? Yeah, where it was like.
Sackboy is the hidden gem of the PlayStation.
So
launch
yeah,
lineup, I'll
I was
say it.
on PS. I was on, of course, as I always am. I was looking at my trophies. So I was over on my PSN profile on psnprofiles.com. And when you're on psnprofiles.com's homepage, because I was checking to see if a game I maybe not reviewing if the trophies were up there yet, I looked down at popular games this week. Resident Evil 4 with 5.6 thousand players. And then right underneath it, the second place game, Sackboy: A Big Adventure with 2.7 thousand players.
Let's fucking
Underneath
go.
that, Hogwarts Legacy. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Sackboy overtook Hogwarts Legacy. Let's fucking go. Finally, justice for to get us off the screen, Barry. Justice for Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
Hey
A
man, people know
fantastic
now.
video game.
People know.
Rise Republic also pretty fun. Wolfenstein 2 is a must-play first-person shooter campaign.
Must play.
Must play. Such a fun one.
Give us play that game if you haven't, so that they see the numbers and are like, man, we should probably finally make a sequel to this.
Yeah. Paradise Killer, also a great detective indie game where you're going through trying to figure out who the Paradise Killer is. And then Bassmaster Fishing, the game where you go fish.
Who doesn't like fishing?
Who doesn't like fishing?
Gary Whitta's going to come out and talk about that. I'm sure he played it. He loves those fishing games. This might even been the one he loved.
Story number 6. Our final news story for the day. THQ Nordic community manager denies claims that AEW Fight Forever is basically ready. This is Chris Scullion at Video Games Chronicle. THQ Nordic's global senior community manager has shot down claims that AEW Fight Forever is essentially complete. Last month, AEW president Tony Khan claimed that the game was finished during a press conference following the company's AEW Revolution pay-per-view event. Quote, "I can't say the exact release date," Khan said at the time, as reported by Wrestling Inc. There's a lot of things that go into that, and I don't want to step on anybody with that. It is coming very soon. The game is finished, end quote. However, following another claim that the game was ready, THQ's Per Hollenbo, known as Zaidi Online, Zaidi, stated that this wasn't the case. After being shown a tweet saying, quote, "The AEW Fight Forever video game is basically ready," Hollenbo replied, quote, "I mean, if you want an unfinished game, sure, we could release now." He added, quote, "The game is doing really well and is getting there, but not 100% yet. So yeah, just another rumor on Twitter, I fear, end quote. When followers started to wonder why some were claiming it was ready, Hollenbo explained, there are tons of things to take into consideration when developing a game. Submission, QA, localization, ratings, optimization, polish, coding, and much more. So even if a game looks finished to some people, if it missed one of those steps, it isn't finished or ready to release," end quote. AEW Fight Forever's release date has been a constant unknown. In June last year, AEW star Kenny Omega said he'd hoped the game was on schedule to release in 2022. When this was clearly no longer possible, the game was then set for release in February 2023. That's the end of the article, but I would like to point out that we are a couple months past February 2023.
I think people knew that. I think people understood that.
Greg, when are we going to get AEW Fight Forever?
When it's ready. I don't think you can. This is a funny story, of course. I don't think it's outrageous, right? I think if we were to ask Triple H anything about the video game side of WWE business, he'd be like, I don't fucking, you know what I mean? So I don't think Tony Khan at the top of AEW worrying about the programming and every other merchandising deal and this Wembley Stadium thing, that like, there's enough going on in his world that I doubt he knows the ins and outs of video games. So yeah, and I mean, more than anything, honestly, my takeaway from this story is to applaud the THQ Nordic community manager. Like, what a great, honest response.
Yep.
Of just like, no, it is not ready. We understand, and not even be like a dick about it, right? Of like, there's a million things, and like, clearly some suit who's doing this thing doesn't necessarily know the ins and outs, and blah, blah, blah. All that aside, when do you think you get AEW? I think when it's ready, which I know is never the answer anybody wants, but it's the true answer. And I think, you can't understate what a Herculean effort this is. You know what I mean? Like, this is the team, obviously, that left the WWE games after having been there forever, right? We're talking about Ukes. Got with AEW and is starting from the ground up, from having nothing, right? Making this game, trying to capture what a modern No Mercy would be, a WrestleMania 2000 and NWO, WCW Revenge would be in this day and age, right? To set off on that and start on that and do it after having done countless 2K simulation games, right? And even with the old THQ for what, all the other different games, Raw, SmackDown, all the Raw versus SmackDown and all that jazz. Like, this is a big fucking move, and it's a big fucking move for Ukes. It is a big fucking move for AEW to do this and never have had a video game before, and have Kenny Omega really seemingly be the shepherd of all this, who we know Kenny Omega loves video games like we love video games. He works with, Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed, a lot and they talk about video games, and they jaw about it, and they do up, down, down stuff. Like, there's so much in this that it's one of those, you got to get it right. Because with all due respect to them, I could foresee this being their only video game, right? Like, AEW is a small promotion. In the grand scheme of things, they are quite large, but you know what I mean? They're not WWE. They're not this, multi-gajillion dollar thing, and who knows what'll happen in the future. But if AEW is going to maintain the size they are now, are they going to be able to commit over and over again? This is definitely not going to be an annualized thing. Yeah. Maybe every few years we're able to get another one, but if you're only going to be able to theoretically maybe put out a game once, fucking make it the best game you can, and like take your time and do it right.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about it definitely not being an annualized thing, right? Like, that makes me look at the UFC games, which aren't annualized, right? You get a UFC game once every few years, and that is UFC, a company with a lot of money, right? A company with a lot of resources, but video game development is difficult. Video game development takes a lot of resources, and for WWE, which is this, like, gigantic corporation that has all this money, even annualizing WWE isn't the most smooth thing in the world, right? We've seen that come through. We saw WWE 2K20 be the one that came out and was terrible in terms of bugs and glitches and not being optimized and all these things. And now they're finding a flow, but we're back to the thing of annualized games where 2K23 for WWE is basically 2K22, right? With an updated roster and some polishing here and there. But yeah, I definitely, when I look at AEW Fight Forever, I definitely think this is one of those ones where it's, all right, you got your one shot now, and like, we'll see how this does. I expect the next game isn't even going to be like a year. I think it's going to be AEW Fight Forever 2, maybe, if that comes out, right? And that's gonna be years and years from now. But yeah, like, I'm looking forward to this game. I had to guess, I would say fall, because I think you'd want to get away from
I would
2K
hope, right? That would be the
2K.
hope, and with the timetables they've talked about before, like, okay, hopefully it would be this. Then there was that thing where it went up on Amazon and it looked like it was going to be February, and that, even for Tony Khan, not knowing much about video games, to say it's complete, and for the community manager to be like, look, listen, it can look complete, but there's all submission, QA, localizations, right? Like, that isn't building as much, right? That is bug squashing and polishing and finalizing.
And we've seen the gameplay trailers. Like, they've already kickstarted the marketing on this thing. Like, the pre-orders, I believe, are available on Amazon. This feels like something that they're I guess, knocking on the door of getting it out the door, right? Like, you're getting there in terms of wanting to actually.
I'm incredibly excited for it. I love Ukes' games and what they've done in the past, and especially their way back. You know what I mean? So, whatever this is going to end up being, I'm excited to see what it turns out to be.
Exactly, Greg. I can't wait for AEW Fight Forever. But AEW Fight Forever's release is an unknown. If I want to know what's coming out to mom and pop shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, we got Ghostwire Tokyo for Xbox Series X and S, Ghostware Arena of the Dead Early Access for PC, Murderous Muses for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X, War Tales for PC, Pokemon Stadium for Switch. I booted that up last night, and let me tell you, I miss Pokemon Stadium. Such a good game. Wild Frost for PC and Switch, Caliber for PC, Rusted Moss for PC, and then Plantera 2, Golden Acorn for PC.
If I may, real quick, I see in the chat, Panda Finn screaming, SnowBikeMike, your ass is grass, and I'm the lawnmower. I will have my revenge. Panda Finn, of course, is referring to KFW, Kinda Funny Wrestling, which makes its return on Thursday, right after Kinda Funny Games Daily on
That's
twitch.tv.
tomorrow.
Kinda Funny Games, yep, and youtube.com/Kinda Funny Games. I can confirm that Panda Finn will be on the card. Of course, Panda
Wow.
Finn was one of the best friends who got called up to compete on the pay-per-view, and then SnowBikeMike said he's not ready, pulled him from the card. That pissed off Panda Finn. Now we're back. Now, is he ready to fight SnowBikeMike? That is the challenge that has been laid out. I've heard he is not, but I don't have much information on that. We'll see what develops tomorrow on KFW.
Do we have
Wow.
any information on the Metacritic?
Metacritic still active, still active with the Federation.
Oh, really?
He,
Really?
I mean, hey,
a lot of people have been thinking he's dead. You know.
Well, his
Cricket's
Twitter
only lived
account's
so
been
long.
quiet, but of course
Yeah.
he has, he is still participating in the dark matches.
He
He beat
uh,
Khalif.
He did make a Hive account
Oh, good to know. I didn't know that.
when
That's
Hive
excellent.
was popping off like 6 months ago. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember
Yeah.
when we all ran there being terrified.
Yeah.
Now, KW, is that a live product? Is that something
That
they
is
can
live,
launch
but you get it later, of course. Remember, if you didn't catch the last KFW, it was during the Spare Bedroom launch stream. It is available as a breakout on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, and a whole bunch of shit did happen that you need to get caught up on. Remember, of course, Cisco is the up, down, down champion. Joey introduced her own title, the JNW title that Andrea won. Hideo Kojima won the Kinda Funny World Championship. And then, most importantly, it was going to be canceled. The entire thing was going to be canceled by Tim, but Phil Spencer fought him in a winner-take-all match, and Phil Spencer now owns KFW.
Oh. Thank you, Phil. New dates for you. Ravenlock launches May 4th for Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC. And it's also day one on Game Pass. This one looks a bit interesting. This one was, I believe, revealed at Xbox's E3 last year. Has like a cool voxel style, art style, and has like this fantasy action gameplay premise to it. Looks interesting, and that now has a release date, May 4th. Endless Dungeon has been delayed to October 19th, 2023. Fantavision 2020X comes to Steam on April 28th. Far World Pioneers launches May 30th for Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS4, PS5, and PC. Also launches on Game Pass day one. Right now, if you're a video watcher, Barrett has pulled up a video of Ravenlock. THQ Nordic and Frozen Byte announced Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy, and is coming this summer to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Switch. Blooming Business Casino will launch on May 23rd, 2023 for Steam and PC. And then Aliens Fireteam Elite debuts on Nintendo Switch on April 26th. We have a deal of the day for you. Devolver Digital tweeted this out this morning. The super cool Inscription card pack is now available on the Devolver Digital merch shop. All packs contain the same 12 cards, 8 regular and 4 hologram printed on 350 GM stock. Just for fun, not an actual card game.
Oh.
I added this to my cart this morning. Like immediately I clicked over to merch.devolverdigital.com, added it to my cart. I didn't press buy because I had to stop myself. I'm not a SnowBikeMike where I do everything on impulse, where I
Yep.
spend money on
Yep.
impulse. I was like, I gotta sit on it for a little bit. I love Inscription. I love the idea of an Inscription physical.
What are you going to do with it, though? You're going to get it,
Exactly.
you're going to look at it and be like, that's cool, and put it on a shelf and it collects dust.
1,000%,
Yeah.
which is why I didn't click buy. I'm still considering it, but I'm taking my time.
I appreciate that.
Taking my time before I hit buy. But it looks really cool. If you're an Inscription fan and if you want to have these cards, definitely click over to Devolver's Twitter to check them out. We do have some reader mail for you, of course.
Reader mail!
You can write into kindafunny.com/KFGD to get your questions read on the show, just like JMaz did. JMaz writes in and says, I'm a big sports fan, and with the NBA season coming to a close, there have been a lot of discussions about the regular season awards. I thought it would be a fun use. I thought it would be fun to use some of those awards for the gaming industry. Things like MVP, Most Improved, Rookie of the Year, etc. What game, character, etc. would win your awards? Here is my thought on what/who I would have win the awards and some awards for y'all to consider. P.S. Y'all can set your own rules in regards to timeline, but since games take a long time to develop and I don't have the ability to only play games released within the calendar year, I am being very generous with my rules. We appreciate it, JMaz. So JMaz's awards go like this. Rookie of the Year, he gave to the Steam Deck. Most Improved Player, he gave to Housemarque and Slowclap.
/slow clap. He couldn't make a choice, I think.
Yeah. Defensive Player of the Year, he gave to Resident Evil franchise
Christ.
for defending Capcom's best remake over Bluepoint. For Sixth Man, he gave it to Video Game Adaptations for Sonic Mario The Last of Us.
Got it.
Coach of the Year, he gave to Jeff Keighley. And then for MVP, he gave to Hidetaka Miyazaki, of course, from Software there. Let's start with Rookie of the Year. I guess we could be loose with our rules because, of course, the awards he's given out here are very loose in terms of timeline. because Returnal came out in what 2021, it's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
What? Yeah. What, I mean, I appreciate the idea, but like, what?
should we? I mean, should we limit it to a year? To like last year?
Yeah, you'd think so. But then again, are we just we're repeating all the DICE Awards and every other award show that's happened since then, right? Like, I don't know.
I mean, DICE Awards doesn't have Rookie of the Year. It does.
I mean, debut games. I mean, Game
All right,
Awards
I guess
or whatever. You know what I mean?
game,
Yeah.
Listen,
What
I
I
watched
jumped to
the
is
DICE Awards.
Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, of course, is Xbox. Just defending this Activision Blizzard deal at every chance they can, as every government and organization in the world comes down on them, and they're like, "Nah, we'll give you 10 years of Nintendo. You take this 10-year deal. All right, well, you will." Like they're out there. They're moving. They got the fast feet, Mike. They're dodging. They're weaving.
See, I was gonna go for Defensive Player of the Year, God of War Ragnarok, or Sony Santa Monica, just for the fact that hey, like y'all came out in 2018, y'all were the MVPs. Can
Sure.
you guys do it again? They came through. They did it again.
Okay.
Right? Sony Santa Monica is still retaining their status in terms of being a quality AAA developer, S tier.
How do you feel about Jeff Keighley as Coach of the Year? He's coaching the industry.
Yeah, that's I don't know how I feel about that.
That's my thing with JMaz here. JMaz, you'd made a classic, kind of funny best friend faux pas, and you wrote in and you didn't show your work. What you didn't give me enough rules on how we're doing this thing as this season comes to a close, whatever the hell that means. You know what I mean? And then you didn't defend your picks here. I love Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley's killing it, but why are you saying Jeff Keighley's Coach of the Year over insert whoever you want to put? Phil Spencer. I'm just throwing that out there, right? You know, somebody who's like Herman Hulse, whoever.
I was maybe gonna even say Sean Murray with No Man's Sky.
Sure, there you go.
Yeah, still
that's
putting
a
out
good
those
example. That's a good
updates.
example.
Still looking great.
Yeah. Sixth Man, video game adaptation.
Mike, what is a sixth man?
That's like your player who isn't a player, right?
A six-man is a role player, your go-to guy off the bench. So essentially you have your starting five, and then you say, you know what? Greg's tired. Who's replacing him? Your six-man is the guy you're most confident with, ready to come in and fill that gap.
Okay. All right, I like that.
Devolver Digital.
Ooh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah,
And I'm not, it's not even a slight, but PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, right? You know what I mean? You start, EA, what are they up to? Maybe we hate them, maybe we don't. You know what I mean? But Devolver, is going to be consistent. Devolver is going to put out good shit to keep you fed throughout the year, regardless of the AAA releases.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's my thing is I think between the AAA releases, I know I can always go to a Devolver game and probably have a good time, right? And I think for some people that might be Annapurna, that might be their sixth
Sure,
man,
of course, yeah.
right? The idea,
But
of,
Annapurna, and I like,
yeah.
I'm going to say this because I love their games, artsy fartsy. So sometimes, what the hell is this visual novel? Other times, well, I'm crying in my soup.
for sure.
Why am I eating soup while I play this game? I don't like soup. Who knows?
Most improved player, I'll probably give it a slow clap for Sifu. Because I played the previous game.
Absolver.
I played Absolver,
Yeah.
and I really wanted to like Absolver, but I just didn't like Absolver.
Okay.
And Sifu fucking loved. Like
Okay.
that's an improvement. That's like a 0 to 100 improvement.
Sure.
And so yeah, I'm giving them most improved player for
See,
sure.
MVP now, Miyazaki, of course, not going to talk shit or whatever. But like there, I think you could make an argument for a Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley's out there making everybody look good, getting everybody over, making events out of nothing. E3's falling apart. He's going to make it better.
I feel that. I think I personally would still give it to Miyazaki.
Of course you would.
Yeah, because listen, Elden Ring. What's better, Elden Ring or the Game Awards? I'm going Elden Ring.
You can't even say it with a straight face.
All right, did we cover all of them? Six man, yeah, most improved rookie of the year. I think
I
it's
like
the one we
Steam
have.
Deck.
You like Steam Deck for
Yeah.
rookie of the year?
Yeah. Again,
Rookie just means like it's your first year out here,
yeah,
right? Debut.
Yeah. I mean, we could go into the other games that are like first years or first games from.
See,
Deck,
I would. Who's the developer of Stray? I know we hated on Stray, but like no, we didn't even hate on Stray, right? Stray was just fine to us. But I think coming out and
you're just I feel
Blue
like you're
12
just-
Studio.
Speak for yourself, Les.
okay, I'm saying us as in me and Greg, right? Me and Greg,
The
were
people who
very much
matter
like-
on the show.
The people who matter on the show were like, Stray is fine.
I'll
Stray
just
is
turn
fine.
everything on.
These are
off
jokes.
And see if y'all can turn it all back on.
That's fair.
Kevin
That's fair. But yeah, no.
Taking them with me.
But like, I think that's a great debut. I think coming out and putting out Stray and having it be popular and having it be treated as this PlayStation indie and having the PS Plus spot, like that is a fantastic debut in terms of putting your name out there. And I think when they're putting out their next game, everybody's already going to be paying attention because we're going to go, oh, those are the guys that did Stray. What are they doing now?
Sure,
Now they're
sure.
making a dog game.
Okay.
All right.
Now you're getting a dog game.
There you have it. Thank you, JMaz, for writing. I appreciated it, even though Greg wanted to hate on it. I appreciated it, JMaz.
I didn't hate it. I wanted
Even
it
though
to be
Greg
better.
wanted to
I
shit all
wanted
over
to
your
elevate
idea.
you, Jay.
Even though he would just want to throw pieces all over at your idea, I'm gonna appreciate it, JMaz.
JMaz
Thank
was
you,
lying in
JMaz.
a gutter, and I reached out and I said, "Do you want to come play basketball with me?" You know what I mean?
All right. What's that a reference to?
Oh, what just came out of my head?
Fair enough. I was like, is this a movie?
No,
Is this what White Men Can't Jump is about? It's been a while since I saw that movie. Before we get to
They're
your
remaking
wrong,
it, you know.
I know, with Jack Harlow, and I'm so fucking excited because I love Jack Harlow.
Okay.
All right.
Listen, I'll
Have
watch
you
Jack
watched
Harlow
that
be Jack
trailer?
Harlow.
It doesn't look great.
Now it's time for a squad up. We got a squad up success story for you.
Hey!
Miguel writes in and says this. Hello, Greg and Bless. Last week, he said I worked in, but I think he means I wrote in for help on Resistance Burning Skies.
Oh, yeah.
Greg had no faith in the Vita community.
I don't think if that's true.
I'd like to publicly shame him for not believing in the beloved system.
I don't know if that's what I said.
I'm here to proudly announce that we helped tens of people get the multiplayer trophy. Great job through the best friends who made it possible. Also, just a bit of drama in the Resistance community. Apparently, the Resistance, Killzone, and SOCOM discords are fighting over who deserves a revive. Currently, Resistance is ahead. Any thoughts? I'll say none of them.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go back to any of them.
Yeah, maybe SOCOM. Maybe.
No, we don't need to
Mike
go back
in the
to
background
SOCOM.
hollering SOCOM.
You go play Rainbow Six and all that jazz. You're fine.
That's the thing is, I think you would renew a SOCOM and make it more Rainbow Six like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
You didn't
Killzone
play-
Resistance, I'm
Did you
good.
play Unit 13 on your Vita? No, you didn't. So that's on you, you know?
Was that a SOCOM game, Unit 13?
It was from Zipper, but
Okay.
it wasn't exactly a SOCOM, but it was very similar.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Now it's time for kindafunny.com/you're wrong, where you write in, let us know what we got wrong, as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the
Real
globe.
quick, sorry. Deadhead674 on Twitch chat says Unit 13 wasn't good. Neither was SOCOM.
He said it. I didn't say shit. I've never played SOCOM. I can't judge. But apparently Greg did. Impossibilium writes in and says Sackboy was on PS Plus Essential. It might be why the player numbers were up. Well, I think we knew that. Yeah. But still, that's still
I
impressive.
was talking a lot of shit about that game, so the fact that it was like there, I was like, damn, I'm crushing out there.
And then Portland Kevin says regarding the Bassmaster reference to Dan Aykroyd and Ghostbusters 2 that Greg mentioned, Greg was likely actually thinking of the classic Dan Aykroyd SNL sketch, The Bass-O-Matic 4000. If it was in fact
I'm gonna
in
need you to
Ghostbusters
shut
2,
up. I'm gonna need you to shut up.
All
I'm
right.
gonna need you to shut up. Portland Kevin, you are one of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever met. One me, Barrett. Give me the one right
Give him
now,
the one. He
Barrett.
needs the
I
one.
am not referring to the Dan Aykroyd SNL skit, you dumb motherfucker. I am I am referring to when Bill Murray, Dr. Peter Venkman, shows up at the museum and walks in to meet Dana Barrett and see Vigo for the first time. He doesn't know that yet. And the security guard goes, Dr. Venkman, World of the Psychic. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, oh, it's one of my favorite TV shows. You're one of my two favorite TV shows. He's like, oh, yeah. And they talk for a real split second, casual conversation. And he goes, what's the other one? And the security guard goes, Bassmasters. And Venkman looks creeped out and walks away. So, Portland Kevin, what I need you to do is stop whatever the fuck you're doing right now, all right? Clearly, it's jack shit as you sit there. I don't care if you're at work. Walk into your boss right now, stick your finger down your throat, puke on the fucking desk, and say you're sick. Go home and watch Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. And if you ever come at me again, expecting me not to get a Ghostbusters reference wrong, and I mean, I would never go out and say I'm the biggest SNL fan of all time, but I will let you know before everything got fucked up. And they used to run SNLs nonstop on Comedy Central, and I would watch that at Grandma Miller's house all the time. So I'm very, very versed in SNL classics. So but that's the thing. You understand that I was so desperate for Ghostbusters content as a child, I would watch anything with any of the Ghostbusters in it. So again, fuck you, just as hard as possible for thinking I would get a Ghostbusters reference wrong. But then also fuck you, man, for thinking I wouldn't know classic SNL shit. If I ever see you pull this kind of shit and you're wrong again, it won't be the Portland Kevin, it will be the dead motherfucker Kevin.
Jesus.
was that too far? Can we say that? Is that allowed?
Know, man.
Is that
I
allowed?
don't know anymore,
It's his company, so listen. I'll let it slide. Tomorrow's host for Kinda Funny Games, they're going to be me and Tim. I love, though, that during that rant, you went from angry to kind of excited to explain the Ghostbusters reference.
Oh yeah, of course.
Then
Anytime
way
I-
back to
anytime I
angry.
get to talk to him, Ghostbusters.
I feel like you had to
I've been hankering for a Ghostbusters 2 rewatch too.
oh, just do it.
I know.
Do you have to have Tim tell you to do it, or like?
No, I don't mean for content. I just mean,
Oh.
yeah, I haven't watched Ghostbusters 2 in a while.
Hear me out. All right, let's just cancel one day of content. We'll watch it as a company together.
I mean, that's the thing is like you say that, but we could just do it where we watch it and we record our impressions on Twitch, and there you go. Not like our impressions of the movie, but like where it's a watch along.
I'm trying so hard to push for like a work outing. Like that doesn't involve work.
Oh,
You know what I
sure.
mean, Mike? You know what I mean? Let's go to a baseball game.
To a baseball game.
Yeah.
You want to go to a baseball game so bad, and the thing about it is you misunderstand, of course, how it works around here. We all love fucking off and not doing anything. A team bonding exercise sounds good. We used to do that shit at IGN, right? And granted, we all hated each other and everybody quit. But like here, it could be different. We could do it here, and we could be a thing. I'm in. You want a team bonding at the Giants stadium? I'm in.
But like we have the cameras there. Is the thing?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, unless you want to like take, it's like you want on Instagram or something like for your own personal stuff.
Okay.
Now I can't be held responsible if the Monday afterwards, the Kinda Funny podcast is like
all
the
about
crazy shit
that
that
is the
happened at the
headline.
Giants game.
Oh, that's fair. That's
Mike
fair.
got kicked by a mule.
That's
like
fair. What was that doing at the Giants game?
they know. I mean, you have to listen to the show to find out.
All right.
All right, I'm
Fair enough.
in. I'll plan you a company outing.
Let's go.
We're doing a company outing.
doing a
Ladies
company
and
outing.
gentlemen, one day there won't be content, or maybe is one afternoon fine? Like we do the morning and then we fuck off.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
I'm
not a
looking
baseball
into
game
this.
happening at 10 a.m. Or is there? I don't watch baseball. I assume.
There's usually a 10:15 first pitch, Mike. I think.
But
for
an
the
early
morning
afternoon
games.
one would be out there, a couple beers.
1:15, I think.
You
is
should go to
another,
21st
first
Amendment,
pitch.
get some pickles. Come on.
Let's go. Of course, again, tomorrow's hosts are going to be me and Tim. If you're watching this live right now,
On April 22nd, they're doing Superman cape socks at the Giants Stadium.
all right.
I mean, we're not
There you
going.
go.
It's a Saturday, so that doesn't work for
Oh.
everyone, but-
Yeah, I'm not doing. I'm going to spend my
We're not-
spend my Saturday watching
I'm not gonna hang
baseball.
out with these fucking faces on the weekend.
Oh man, I got napping to do on a Saturday. If you're watching this live, remember we're trying to do something new here with YouTube SuperChats on Kinda Funny Games Daily, only on YouTube and the live stream. There's going to be a 30-minute post show where SnowBikeMike comes in and talk to us KFGD hosts about your super chat questions. So stay tuned after today's handshake to hang out with us before the next Kinda Funny stream starts. Of course, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and weekday live right here on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. Until next time, Game Daily.
Fuck off, Portland, Kevin.
All right, y'all.
Here comes Mike. He's gonna have some
I wish the mic
fun.
was. Well, actually, no, the mic is still on. Hey G Hyuga says, I'm gonna say this every time. Only YouTube and live stream. Where else would it be? Podcasts. People listen to this on Spotify. They
You're
need
such
to know.
a stupid idiot, Hail Haluga. Why don't you and Portland Kevin go hug each other, get into a little spaceship, and fuck off into the sun, all right?
What's up, Mike? How's it going? Oh, shit, we Watch Brothers.
Well, I know I'm having deja vu right now, and if I remember the dream correctly, one of them's mad at me. One of them doesn't take the jokes well.
Hey everybody, welcome to your Kinda Funny Games Daily Post Show. Before we go into our afternoon stream, of course, I'm back with your two Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr., the Perry Poppy, the Performance Poppy, my
Performance
dude,
Poppy.
the Young King, and of course, Mr. Greg Miller, who's got an attitude and an energy that I just love today.
It's one of those things, I've been pushed around too long by these fucking paying fans, and I won't stick around and have it anymore, all right?
I feel like what you need is a baseball game.
And I do appreciate that you have promised a company team building outing. And I'm excited about that, Greg. I can look forward to that. And Blessing, I'll help you pick some fun ideas that we could look at, right? If you want to
Hell
stick
yeah.
with a
No.
baseball game, I'm
Yeah,
all about
no,
it.
let's do a
I was
baseball
thinking some
game.
other cool ideas like
Listen, we can-
whitewater
we can-
rafting.
This
Oh, you're
all
trying to
started
kill me.
with
Ropes
conversations
I
of a
love
baseball
Mike
game
suggest
yesterday,
things that might
Mike.
kill me. I can't swim. I'm not going water rafting.
You know, I got some other ideas in mind, Bless, that we could go do.
Also,
I need something
the
that I can
more
get drunk
active
at.
you get, Mike, the less likely the entire company wants to go.
Yes, exactly. I want everybody to be very
Now,
active.
somebody in
this.
chat says
want that.
kickball. I would be totally down for kickball. I think that'd
We
be a
should
very
be
fun time.
signing up for the Volo Kickball League this summer as a team. Bring out a keg. We all drink beer and play kickball.
Me and Roger looked into that.
Yeah.
It is expensive, dude.
Yeah, but we could do that.
It's like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but you're gonna have 10 people, $100 each. Bang.
Yeah.
There's a season. Summertime, fun. Let's jump in
summer,
to today's
summertime.
post show. Of course, you can get involved and have some fun. If you want to go more in depth on one of today's news topics, if you want to bring your own topic of discussion in the gaming world or just life, because I got a fun one I want to bring up with both of you. You can, of course, super chat over in YouTube with your questions, comments, and concerns. Over on Twitch, use those bits. Of course, if you use biddies, it's just like a super chat. You can donate a certain dollar amount, attach a message onto it, and I will have the squad talk about it. Just like today, we have some super chats coming in. First off, we're going to start off with just an off-topic one, but a fun one. Kenneth Fox writes in with $5 and says, loving Bless wearing the West Ham jersey. Ha, ha, ha. Hammers up, Bless. That's what
Hammers
they say.
up.
Hammers up.
Wow. Is that something
they
you heard
say
from
that?
Gary Whitta? Like, where'd you hear that
I
from?
mean, Gary Whitta, FIFA, they'll say that. And, of course, if you're watching, Ted Lasso, hammers up.
Oh yeah, dude. That's my thing. That's why I wore it. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're probably here at the beginning of the show when I talked about it. But I've been watching the latest season of Ted Lasso. West Ham has become a bigger topic of conversation as they're they're the rival team this season. And so now I have an actual thing to identify with when I see this jersey in my closet. I saw it before and I'm just like, oh yeah, Jordan Middler gave that.
It
to me.
looks very good, Bless.
Now I'm like, oh, I'm a villain.
You should rock
I'm
this.
repping it.
You are on the bad team, but that's all right because
yeah.
you know what? You're
I'm
repping
a
it and having a good time.
bad guy.
Greg, have you ever thought about European football, aka soccer here in America?
Not even a little bit.
Never
no,
once in your life?
No.
Have you ever gone to a soccer game here in the States?
I have, yeah. Chicago Fire back in the day.
Exactly,
I see that. That was a big deal. I remember we'd go to that, and I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's over. You go home. That's great.
Solid.
Get
Drink
a little
some beers.
flag though.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, I was a kid.
Oh, okay,
I remember they were
okay.
before they were Chicago Fire. They had an eagle, and I remember we had I had that little you buy the little flag because you're a kid. You buy stupid stuff at the thing.
Now, here's the deal, Bless. You want to talk about company outing?
What up?
San Jose Earthquake, just down the road, have a beautiful stadium, and I hear a pretty top-notch bar that we all could go get some drinks at.
I do
and
like a
enjoy
bar.
day in the sun.
Oh.
If you ever want to think about that, Bless.
We're doing
doing
the San
baseball,
Jose
remember?
Earthquake. Is that a team?
That's a team. Yeah, that's our MLS team here.
We have an MLS team.
Correct.
Holy shit!
You have an
Holy
MLS team
shit.
here that's kind of good.
How-
Is right.
it's
Something to
good?
think about. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to
Okay.
go to an MLS
So-
game.
something to
I
keep
would
in mind.
so prefer an MLS game than a baseball game.
All right, well, let's keep it going with some more fun super chats. We have a super chat coming in from Guitar Hero who writes, yet another next-gen game taking a performance L. Ugh. When do we see the pro consoles, and do they finally give us both performance and quality? Holy smokes, Bless and Greg. Hold up a second. You're telling me I now need a pro-level console to finally get performance? Is that what we're really holding out for? I thought these next-gen consoles were going to be that.
You thought wrong.
Really?
I mean, this is how it's going to be. The performance, the choice, what do you want to do, where do you want to go?
Wow.
And by the time we ever get to consoles having it just ready to go, whatever, the next thing PC will be doing will be the thing that we're not doing. And you're constantly going to be chasing these lousy-ass PC gamers because they like spending all this money. They like wasting their time building this shit out when it's good enough on console.
If the pro consoles give us both performance and fidelity, then I feel like that for me that is the dream, and I'm totally down for that. And I hope we get that within the next couple of years. I would assume, based on rumors and stuff, right? Like end of 2024 sounds about right. Especially when you look at how long the current gen consoles have been out and how long you would expect maybe the generation to last. But I mean, I think the reason why we're getting another game without a performance mode at launch doesn't have to do with the consoles, right? I think that just has to do with development and optimization and how hard it is to develop a video game, right? Like they said they're going to give us 60 FPS in performance just later on because I think certain things take priority. And to them, when they're like, hey, we have this game that we want to put out on May 2nd.
That's correct.
Yeah, on May 2nd. They're like, hey, what are the things that we need to hit? We got to make sure that maybe the game is bug free. We got to make sure that we don't have any they have known shippables, which are the bugs they can ship with, and I guess critical bugs. We got to make sure we have no critical bugs. We got to make sure that the game feels right. And I think on the list of priorities for them, 60 FPS and performance is lower on it. And I think that's the real issue here. And I think that just comes down to man, all right, maybe the answer is a delay, right? Maybe this isn't we can't make it happen or the console isn't capable kind of thing. I think it is just what's important to us and what's important to the audience, and is there a disconnect here in terms of what they want out of us and what we're able to deliver to them at this time in the timeline?
Well said from both of you. As the just average gamer, right? I'm just Mike, right?
This is just
I
Mike,
thought
just Mike, buddy.
this next gen was the goal to get up to 4K 60.
I think that's the
offer me
goal.
these, but when I think about a pro model, if we're going to start chasing what PC's doing. Perfect example, what me and Andy saw yesterday with full ray tracing, path tracing. That's when we start getting to, now Mike's buying a pro or the next gen. I'm just an average Joe. I thought I already expected this stuff, Greg.
Do you think a pro is ever going to get there, though? Like, if a PS5 Pro or an Xbox Series X Pro, do you think those are going to give you what you got from Cyberpunk yesterday in the stream?
Honestly,
Because that seems like such a dream, right?
No,
But I
because
mean, like,
that's
that's
the
what we're
thing is
chasing,
everything will be built for the lowest common denominator. So it'll all be up-resed, whatever, scaled, all this stuff that I personally don't care about really, right? That isn't my big concern when I'm playing games, with the exception of what we're talking about right now of like the bare minimum of 60 not even being an option in Redfall, right? I think you're always going to see that where like if you're building it for multiple SKUs and multiple things, you're going to do that. And if you're a developer and you're trying to put it on multiple platforms, you're building for the easiest path of least resistance, right? And so like that's the push and pull of all this where it's like, yeah, if the next one was everything we wanted, then yes, and we're talking about a PlayStation, the next Last of Us would do that, right? Like the first party stuff would all take advantage of that, but not whatever third party thing you're dropping on there. The next Jedi wouldn't do that.
Somebody in chat mentioned like, am I wrong to think that the Xbox Series? Am I wrong to think that the Xbox Series S is holding that
I was
back?
just going to ask you. Let's have the real conversation. Is it the S? Is the S holding this team back from greatness?
I think it's more so what Xbox looks out of their first party stuff, right? And maybe this is a conversation of they need to shift gears and start thinking about power and start thinking about optimization and stuff. Because I would never expect this from PlayStation. Not to turn this into like a console war conversation, but
well,
PlayStation would never do this to me.
On the opposite side,
Yeah.
If PlayStation ever done this, and do you think they would ever do this?
Kindafunny.com. Oh, no, I guess not. You're wrong. I guess let us know in chat, right? Like,
Yeah.
has this happened from a big first party game on the PlayStation side? Because if Spider-Man 2. If we were a month away from Spider-Man 2 in the fall, and they're like, hey, we're launching this game with no performance, like you're going to play at 30 FPS, I'd be like, what the fuck is happening? Like, why is this happening? I'll be shocked. I would be surprised. I wouldn't expect that from the PlayStation side. And I think part of that is the fact that PlayStation Studios, they pride themselves and they prioritize the idea of, no, you are going to display what the console can do. Like, we are selling these games.
These are
so that-
showpieces.
These are showpieces. We're selling these games so that people will look at these games and want to buy the console. I don't think Xbox Game Studios thinks that way, or at the very least, they're not organized in that
But
way.
the problem with not thinking that way, and I agree that's not what they are, is that they marketed their console that way. They marketed the console as that this is the most powerful console on the market. It can do all
12
these amazing
teraflops,
things, yada, yada,
Xbox
yada.
velocity
and it's like, what has that
architecture.
done for me lately? Those were all bullet points, but what has that done for me in terms of being a player, an Xbox player, that I'm playing these games and getting the most out of? It's just not happening.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of discourse over on Twitter, and a lot of the conversation is like making Xbox fans and gamers feel like second-class citizens. It's like this approaches a lot of PC-heavy wording now, right? Like, go play on PC, right?
Yeah,
all the Xbox stuff is on PC. Is that really where I need to be? Do I need to ditch the Xbox hardware and just get a PC and still be part of the ecosystem? Is that what we're moving towards?
I mean, who knows, right? Like, I think the fact that that Xbox treats themselves more as a platform versus PlayStation, who treats themselves as the box, right? Like, we want you to buy a PS5, we want you to see the technology. When you buy a PSVR 2, we're gonna have Horizon Call of the Mountain there, so you can see how pretty and how cool eye tracking is, and how like they want you to sell the box so hard, right? Whereas Xbox is very much, hey, play our games anywhere. Like, play it on cloud streaming, play it on PC, play it on Xbox. And I think for them, that just means that like something like 60 FPS or something like these prime platform features that you're advertising with the Series X don't become as important, because it is, well, some people are gonna play it on cloud anyway. Some people are gonna play it on PC and get those benefits out of PC. Some people are gonna play it on the Series S anyway. Like, how much of the Xbox audience has a Series S, right? Like, that is a percentage of the audience that you want to cater to as well. I think it just goes down, shifts down on the priority list because of that.
Yeah, it's so interesting, right? Because the Xbox Series S has been marketing as it's still powerful as can be. It's just not hitting 4K, right?
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
still giving you the frame rate. All of these games on every single list is 120, 60 frames, right? Like, it's hitting frame rate wise. Why is this one title having a problem? Is it the S? Is it just how we developed the game, like you brought up, Bless, right? Is that not on the critical role list that we have to hit? It's very interesting to see. And of course, thankfully, I don't think, and I think most people will agree with me, Redfall is not the showcase title. Sure, it's one of our big four this year on the Xbox ecosystem. So sure, you could say it's a showcase title like that, but this is not the showcase title. That's a Forza situation there.
Yeah.
Should be a Starfield, right? Like, it's not showcase like Spider-Man, but like, that is a
Maybe
game
it
of,
should be.
that's supposed to be a game of a generation.
Starfield
right,
should
Bless?
be a
Yeah.
game that I am playing and going, wow, like, look at this, like, oh my god. And comparing it to Spider-Man, right, and talking about showpieces, like, yeah, Spider-Man in terms of polish and in terms of fidelity and all that stuff is gonna be great, right? But I think part of that is the scope of Spider-Man, like, Insomniac's done, like, this is a thing that works like clockwork for Insomniac, where they put out multiple of these games already, and that is a game that should feel smooth. That's a game that should look smooth. That's a game that should speak on a cinematic level. Where Starfield is this open world RPG that has galaxies and planets that you can visit, I should be feeling the scale of Starfield, right? Like I should be walking into a room, looking at the layout of the room and going like, wow, look at like the artistic direction. Wow, look at like how this gun looks. So like get to a planet, look at the vista in the Elden Ring kind of way, right? And be like, wow, this is such a beautiful vista. Look how vast and open this world is. Starfield should speak to me on that level, which I think, is going to have to use the power of the Xbox Series X, right? Like, I think that is a thing that they should push, and especially to Greg's point, that's the thing that they've advertised, and so why not push that?
It's so interesting because, of course, it was on our minds back during the Xbox and Bethesda Summer Showcase was, is this game going to be 30 frames? Are they going to hit 60? And I think we've kind of slowed down because that hasn't been the big marketing beat. We haven't talked much about Starfield until this summer, right? But now you put Redfall on display, especially coming from the Bethesda team. Now it's on everybody's mind, right? Starfield is going to be a big topic of conversation.
You said it when
better not come out.
When we were talking about it during the draft, right, Mike? You had said, hey, this for what's expected to be game of the generation, and I was like, "Are you serious? You think it's gonna be?" And you're like, "It has to be. That at this point, it has to be. That's what you have to have expectation wise on this."
Okay,
and that's not a crazy thing to say, but you want to talk about, can you rise to that challenge, especially now with like, let alone the fact that it's Starfield, let alone it's Todd Howard, the fact that Xbox fans are looking to them after some disappointments here.
Yeah. Guys, we don't have much time because, of course, I got to bounce out and start up this Kinda Funny Games afternoon stream. So today, we're going to go rapid fire with some of these fun ones. So bear with me and get ready. Right now, we have another fun one. Greg.
Yeah.
Really a Taylor Swift fan? ? No Era Tour talk? What's up, Greg?
I feel like we talked about that one here there. The honest to God's truth is, many of you might know, or maybe you don't know, I have just accepted I don't like going to concerts. I've for years and years gone to concerts, and it's like, I don't really dig this. Why do I do it? And then I get excited because the people I like come to town.
Yeah.
The best concert I ever went to, Vanessa Carlton here at the American Music Hall in San Francisco. It was me and Gia because Jen still lived away. Tim didn't want to go, so me and Gia went, and you got to sit at a table, and I was like, this is perfect.
Yes,
this is an old
nice.
person's concert, and it turns out I've always wanted to be an old person. Oh. So like, I went to see Taylor during the 1989 tour down in at Levi's, and it was a bitch to get there because Levi's Stadium's far away. We were late. We parked illegally, but it worked out. We ran in there. We got in there. We sat in the upper deck, and I enjoyed listening to the music I listened to all the time. But it was like, I spent a lot of money to sit here and do this, and I'm like, I don't need this. This just isn't my thing. I'm over concerts.
Yeah, tough one, Bless. You and I, we're the young bloods here. Don't worry about it. We'll go to some
Even
concerts.
when I was young, I did not like concerts.
Let's keep it going right now. Cooper writes in and says, can I send Kinda Funny a Manchester United kit, a.k.a. jersey, so we can further promote the Premier League to the Kinda Funny community?
I would take a Chelsea kit.
Chelsea, okay.
Yeah, Chelsea was my team back
I'll
when I
take
was a
Man
kid.
U. That's crazy. I'll wear anything you send me, so send it on down, big dog, okay? I'm always looking to further my football kit, so I'll gladly do that. Let's write Dead Mother Effin' Kevin. If each of you could play parts in the Ghostbusters remake, which character would you want to play? Blessing, I don't know how
I couldn't tell you one character. I'll play
Greg,
Ghost.
we'll turn to you. You get to cast your Ghostbusters remake with everyone here inside the studio. Quickly, give me the rundown.
Kevin is Janine for sure. Joey would be. I'm just gonna cast 4 Busters. Like, are we playing this? Is it a so yeah. I mean, if I have to give them a thing, I want to see Joey be Egon. I'll be Ray. Nick Scarpino is going to be Pete Venkman. Then Winston, that can be Mike, the everyman, this whatever, you know what I mean?
That.
Tim, of course, always trying to cancel things. He'd be Walter Peck. Where do I want to put Barrett? Barrett, and am I doing just the universe or the first movie? Barrett. I'm going to make Barrett the mayor. Blessing, you get to be Louis Tully. Who have I left off? Cool Greg. Cool Greg can be Slimer because I want him to hang out more. Roger can be Dana Barrett, I guess. We only have one woman, and I already cast Joey. It's weird to put her. Who have I left off? Who did I leave off from the company? You. That's all the full-timers, right? Did I get all 11 of us? I think so.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
cool.
it. All right, I like that. Final one because we got to go. If you wrote in with the
Andy. Andy's dead.
Louis Tully? Who's that?
Louis Tully?
Tully, okay.
Yeah. Rick
If you
Moranis'
wrote in
pick.
with your super chats for our post show, I will get to those tomorrow. We'll continue to do this throughout the week, so don't forget about that one. We have one final one from Kayla, who writes in and says, we got some casting announcements for the DC Creature Commandos show and the Penguin teaser, so let's keep an eye out for that one. Of course, Greg is all things DC. Greg, what the heck is the Creatures Commandos?
It's that thing James Gunn's doing.
Okay.
It's those guys. Remember those guys? Oh, I did see this go through. Frank Grillo's going to play Rick Flag and the Creature Commandos.
I don't know who Frank Grillo is.
Yeah, you do. He was not Bonesaw, Crossbones.
I remember that guy.
MCU.
Yeah.
He was a guy. Cat fought in the elevator and stuff like that.
These are cool looking jabronis, but they won't
Do you
look
want
like
to go
that
watch
in the
this?
movie though.
Well, it's a cartoon.
Oh,
they're
okay.
doing.
Oh,
This
even
is-
better. Then I'll watch that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Okay, yeah, I'm on for that. Kind of funny, best friends. We are moving and grooving. I am heading to the lab to take you to Augusta National, where me and Andy are going to hit the links for 18 and just talk about life. So you can super chat over there. You can Twitch sub over there. We'll talk about DC's fan casting. We'll have some fun talking about 30 frames per second games, or we'll just talk about soccer, whatever you guys want to do while we hang out for all of that. So much cool stuff on the way. And of course, today, the Kinda Funny Xcast will deep dive into the conversation of Redfall launching at 30 frames per second. So write in to kindafunny.com/Xbox if you have more stuff to talk about. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.